So, the other day someone asked me, what is my favourite rye whiskey cocktail? And that was a surprisingly tricky question to answer because there's a lot of rye whiskey cocktails that I like. The Old Fashioned is one of my favourites. I also quite like a Manhattan. But that's not the only cocktail that's named after a borough of New York. There's, as I've mentioned before, there's a Bronx, there's a Staten Island Ferry, there's a Queens. But there's also one that I do really like, which I had not encountered before until I was introduced to it by those wonderful people at Etsy Bravo, which is by far the best cocktail bar in downtown Pullman. If you're ever there, you must go and say hi and buy a drink. And they introduced me to this, and I'm now going to share it with you. This is the Brooklyn. So, as I may have mentioned already, it's a rye whiskey cocktail. So we are going to put 2 ounces of my favourite rye whiskey into our mixing glass that is already conveniently filled with ice. And then it's going to take 1 ounce of dry vermouth, like so. It's already quite different to the Manhattan. And then there are 2 other ingredients in there as well. The first is maraschino liqueur. We're going to put 1/4 ounce of that in like so. That nice sort of almondy taste that goes in it so well. And then Amer picon. And as I've said before, I do not have Amer picon. I'm using this China. It's a dry orange curacao, but you know, something like Ramazotti will work, as I think I've mentioned before as well. I've not tried Ramazotti. I would like to hear what people think of it. Otherwise, I'll have to go out and buy some to try it myself. We have 1/4 ounce of that as well. Measure that in carefully. In it goes. And then we are going to stir. And again, you don't need too long with this. Half a minute at the absolute maximum. I've been known to do it for longer, I've been known to do it for shorter, but about half a minute should do it. And you can feel the outside of the glass getting nice and cold. And that should do it. We'll get our strainer and pour it into our chilled coupe glass. Like so. And it's my favourite garnish to go with it, a Luxardo cherry. Let's see what that's like. That is a Brooklyn, baby.